going to blame your new book for any of this. I'm just about to read it, so I don't quite know what's in it yet. But I've got a theory developing in my mind that
yes.
the media has been given, or the right-wing media has been given, a golden opportunity to play all of these deaths down, because there's a whole discourse in this country now of conspiracy theorists, anti-vaxxers. They're sowing the seeds of doubt in a lot of people's minds. Not my mind, and I'm sure not your mind, but that this isn't really happening. There's this whole notion that there's deaths with COVID, of COVID, and I know lots of people that before this situation happened wouldn't entertain conspiracy theories, but for some reason this has got into their minds. And I think some people are in a form of disbelief about 50,000 people dead. Again, I stress, I'm not, but I think it's being undermined by conspiracy theorists and, tinfoil wearing nutcases, basically.
So because there is room for doubt, it dilutes the room for concern. You think, how can I respond to this honestly if I don't believe? How can I respond to this more strongly if I don't believe that it's true? And do you know, Terry, you'll appreciate this. I got a text and I've lost it now. I've got too many coming in at the moment. I'm a victim of my own success, Terry, as you just proved by mentioning my recently published book, How Not to Be Wrong: The Art of Changing Your Mind. So I started reading a text and I honestly couldn't have told you how it was going to end. I could have tossed a coin. It said, I'll tell you why people are ... not responding as you think they should to this story. It's because the death toll is, and I didn't know whether it was going to say exaggerated or whether it was going to say underrepresented, because of course it is underrepresented when you bring in the Financial Times tally of excess deaths, and the government has kind of reviewed the way it counts these figures. So that was from an honest person. They were pointing out the real death toll is higher. But if we'd got one from a not dishonest but deluded person, the first 12 words of that text would have been identical. The only difference would have been whether they were alleging that things were worse or better than the official figures attest. And that is the point of disinformation, isn't it? Not to make us all believe something that's wrong, but for us to all believe that there's no such thing as an objective right.
Absolutely. And the whole thing gets undermined. And the ability for people to, well, maybe comply is the wrong word, but to embrace what the government and what sage people are asking us to do, it's absolutely getting undermined. And I've heard different programs where people have reported family members with blazing arguments, and please not mention the Brexit word again, but that's the same thing that happened. Disinformation, conspiracy theories, and family members being set against each other. It's almost like it's happening again, but this is far more serious. People are dying, for heaven's sake.
Well, on a scale that we're not seeing anywhere else in Europe, and yet this narrative. Well, actually, maybe, Terry, it's such, and you've brought the B word into it again, which is fine by me. I can do a little bit of pot kettle, but I can't go that far. It's almost as if it offers such a complete corrective to the English exceptionalism argument, the idea that Brexit would be great because we are somehow inherently and intrinsically better than Johnny Foreigner. And I don't think it's controversial to suggest that that's been very front and centre in the public space since 2015, 2016. It is essentially a credo for some people. So the handling of the coronavirus in comparison with other countries is such a complete contradiction of exceptionalism that they almost have to just close their eyes and pretend it's not happening. Yeah,
I agree with you.
That works, doesn't it? That fits.
It does work. I mean, it's not the only thing.
No, it won't be.
What's going on? There's lots of things going on. And there's lots of people suffering in many, many, many other ways. And I know for a fact, I used to work at Bournemouth Hospital as an electrician. Yeah. And I know people personally that have died through COVID. It is real, folks. It's really happening. I know people there that are there and they're working there. Well, let's use a nice word. They're working their absolute socks off to try and save people. And it really does upset me. Immensely that these people with their conspiracy theories are
pathetic
undermining
little placards
everything.
marching around the place and refusing to wear masks and calling them muzzles. And that is not confined to Auntie Doris's Facebook page. There's people with national newspaper columns. Before you go,